What's up, guys? It's the Dockman. We're out here on Fonda Lake in Brighton, Michigan on a service call. We've got the side cradles of this lift that got tweaked from lifting the boat with the ballast full on this wakeboarding boat. Both side cradles now have to be replaced, and also the winch cable ended up getting a little jeopardized as well, so we're going to do a winch cable repair. Follow along. I'll show you guys as much as I can. We've got Nate down in the water right now. The first step is going to be getting the cradle up so we can actually take the side frame off it that got bent. And how we're going to get it up is just lifting it up as much as we can, wrapping a strap around it like you see him doing right there, and then ratchet strapping it up so that it's hanging for us to be able to work on. Okay. Yep. Looks like it's doing what it's supposed to do.
Very good.
Okay, so now we have the cradle suspended. Now we can start working on pulling the side frames off. Do you want me to lift that front side up a little bit more or not? Or is that good?
Yeah, we'll get this right here.
Okay. Okay, step one, done. So these two sides, here and here, that ended up getting tweaked when there was too much weight on the cradle from the ballast being full, are gonna come off, and these are gonna come on. A little bit of a technique we have. We've got to finesse it a little bit because what we're going to try to do is not have to take the whole cradle off the lift. That's why we're strapping it from up above. Then we're going to unbolt it on each corner, take both the broken side pieces off, and then hopefully be able to slip these back in, bolt it down, string the cables. We are going to be doing a winch cable repair too, because when the cradle pinched, it started rubbing the winch cable a little bit. It's still in decent shape, but some of the strands are broken on it, so that's going to have to come off, and we're going to put a fresh one on so the customer has the peace of mind and doesn't have to worry about a lift cable breaking. When this was all tweaked and the geometry was off, this winch cable was rubbing against the frame. You can see where it started marring the cable up. You can see where it cut into the aluminum there. Look at the bolt on this pulley. You can see this is like almost pulled through from when everything was tweaking and he was lifting it. It just started pulling things like it shouldn't. We'll get her fixed though. I do guarantee that.
But there's 4 bolts that hold these cradles together in each corner. So you gotta get those out just to work with it. So since the side cradles are bent, obviously took too much weight somewhere. So the first thing you want, once you get the cradles disconnected, you want to look at the bolts that are holding the cable underneath. Because if that side cradle took too much weight, obviously the cables are taking too much weight. So you want to be able to look at these bolts. This one looks fine here, but once in a while, very rarely will bend, but it will shear it a little bit. If you see that, there's no reason to reuse it. It's a $10 bolt, go get a new one. So there's that.
So Nate has 6 bolts out on that side frame right now. There's only 2 holding that side frame piece on at this point. 1 in the bottom corner of each of those plates. Before he takes those last bolts out, he's undoing the cable that holds the side frame up to the top frame of the lift. He's already undone the cable down below. So now this cable comes off and he takes his last 2 bolts out, and then that side frame piece should slide out relatively easy. Boom! It's like you've done it before. You can see here where when there is additional weight on the lift, more so than what it's rated for, you can see where it cracked the side tube and tweaked the pulley to where it won't spin anymore. This is actually remarkable for the amount of weight that was on here, that this is all that happened, but nonetheless it needs to be made right. So definitely a testimony to Great Lakes lift here. Most of the other lifts, I won't name any actual names, most of the other lifts that are out there would have been far more damaged. The boat would have came right down off the cradle. The new side cradle is going on. He's gonna bolt it into place and then connect the upper cable and then the lower cable, or vice versa. The lower cable, you end up having to dive underneath the water. That's about the hardest part when you're replacing anything on a lift where the cable needs to come off from down below. You gotta hold your breath and go down, and if you're taking it off, loosen the bolt that holds in the cable. If you're putting it on, you gotta put it back through and tighten it. So you learn to hold your breath.
It's easier to do the underwater one first, because the same cable is going underwater here is going up there. You're kind of battling it, you know. So if I pull this cable, you can see that cable move. You know, so if I gotta lift up the cradle to make it fit, I'd rather do it above water where I can see instead of pulling it down underwater. I'm just guessing. I know you can't see, but underneath here, there's the frame and a weldment this bolt goes through, and the cable wraps around this bolt.
It's just one bolt that goes through this loop in the cable and then through a hole in the frame. So what Nate's doing when he's diving down is taking this loop that's on the bottom side of the new side cradle there, putting it down into the frame and sticking a bolt through it, tightening it down so that it's connected at the bottom.
All right, just gotta tighten her up now. So if you can see, it's a little short now. I'm gonna try, I'll initially just try lifting it myself and see if I can do it all at once.
Can I start on doing this side? Okay, well, he's finishing up that side. And I'm gonna start on this side, taking the side cradle off. We're just repeating the process that he just did over there. Except I get to do it from the dock. I don't have to get in the water. Bolts are gonna come out. Cable's gonna get disconnected down below and up top. Side cradle comes off. New side cradle goes on. Wash, rinse, repeat. If you watch Nate, I don't know if you noticed, but on the other side, just so this doesn't fall in the water, little Dockman trick, he just threaded it lightly on top of the other one. Then it holds there instead of being on the bottom of the lake, which is where a lot of our tools and hardware tend to go. Okay, so both those nuts came off. I just threaded them on here loosely for now so they don't fall in the water. U-bolt comes off, cable is unhooked, and now the cradle is free from the frame of the lift. So when Nate undoes those bolts there, it can come off. Just putting this side frame, this side cradle back in, obviously things are just like geometrically a little bit off because one, there was some weight, too much weight on the cradle, so everything's a little tweaked, and two, we had the other side frame piece off, so it's just suspended by straps. So it takes a little bit of prying to get it into place, but once it's in place and the bolts are tightened down, everything squares right back up and you're right back to where you should be.
Cable's connected down low. Now I gotta get this top cable here, and then both should be good. We have run a test obviously, and as long as that works out, we're good to go.
Side cradle is secured, bottom cable is on. Now this goes up. Sometimes you do have to lift the cradle like Nate did. This goes back up through where we took it off. Thread them down until it's as tight as you can go with your fingers. Okay, yep, we're gonna now test it, make sure everything runs properly. The strap comes off. As I go up with the cradle, Nate will go around and just make sure all the pulleys are spinning. See, you can see down here, these ones are moving. Pulleys are turning, it's not tweaked. Let's go back here and look at these two. Side cradle pulley is turning. Rear cradle pulley is turning. How do those ones look over there, Nate?
Real good.
Okay. All right, let's go down with it. Looks like it's moving down just fine. That's a wrap. We did say that we're gonna be replacing the winch cable. We're gonna do that in a separate video, so you'll have to tune in to winch cable replacement or lift cable replacement so you can see that one specifically. Once that video's done, we're gonna put the boat on, lift it up, and we should be all set to go. This customer's set for the rest of the summer. Thanks for watching.